It's Libra season. The sun is in Libra. That means that us earthlings here on the planet are going through Aries consciousness. We are learning the things that are meant for Aries to be learning in our conscientiousness. So those things would be things like balance and stopping to smell the flowers and taking our time to be present. Libra is a lot about beauty and balance and justice. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And what I mean by that when I say that, dissimilarly to an Aquarian, I have a Venus in Aquarius and a Mercury in Aquarius. For all you Aquarians out there, when we say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, our idea of beauty can be the most unique person in the room. And it might not be the thing or the person or the situation that is most symmetrical. It might be our idea of what beauty is could be very different. But when I say beauty's in the eye of the beholder in regards to Libra, it's very specifically about taking the time. Beauty is in Libra season is about like the art class where you go and you sit with a piece of nature, a leaf or a flower, and you examine it closely. You brush it up against your skin. If it's not poisonous, you put it against your lips. You look at it. You notice all the details. You smell it. You use your senses, all of your senses that you are able to use to examine this favorite flower of yours or this favorite tree. And then you sit in quiet and listen, taking it in. Sometimes even inviting it to speak to you. Why not? You'll come up with some amazing poetry when you do that. So that's Libra. Libra is the art classes. It's the taking the time to really just recognize the pleasure in things, the beauty in things, and what looks the way that we like it to look. And what feels the way that we want it to feel. Libra, I think of lit candles, twinkly lights, lit candles, whether for the ambiance, for a romantic setting. Libra can be very romantic. There are some things I'll share because I don't know a whole lot about Libra, but I do have some friends that are Libras. I've had some friends, and I currently have a friend that's a Libra, and this person inspires me. They say the 5 closest people to you are a representation of parts of yourself and your own capabilities in your own life. So this particular friend, similarly to me, has studied psychology and has, I don't know if she went. I don't know if she studied dance therapy, but I did. And so she's very similar to the part of me that, has studied dance and movement therapy and sings, and she likes to sing, and she's got her little patterns that she does every day. Like she does her walk and she stops to smell the flowers, and she has her warm beverage, and she does her stretches, and she is very inspiring to me in that way to maintain a sense of self and that autonomy that is so prevalent in the polar opposite of Libra, which is Aries. And people who are Libras learn the ways of Aries and vice versa. So she's definitely mastered in a lot of ways self-care and having her own personal rhythm. And Libra, another thing about Libra too, Libra energy and Libra season is it's a lot about relationship. And that Libra definitely has a good relationship with herself. She self-advocates. She takes really good care of herself. She makes sure that her hair is done, and she makes sure that her nails are done. And she takes good care of herself. And her relationships really matter to her. Her friendships and her family and her kid and her dog and her partner, top priorities after herself, of course. Or along with herself. And I think that's a lot of Libra. Libra can also stand for justice. And I'm not familiar too much about how that plays out, but Libra cares a lot about fairness and all that jazz. In every video, I talk about how this is the age of Aquarius. Pluto has moved into Aquarius. So it's like we've got a clean, fresh slate in regards to our karma, in regards to the stories that we're creating for ourselves. And that's not just with this Pluto transit in Aquarius that began at the beginning of this year in the Hallmark reference to the beginning of this year, which is January, Hallmark New Year. But it's going to be this way for a long time. And we just went through another new year, which is in August, Lionsgate. It's actually at the end of Cancerian season now. We just went through that, and that's parts of the world have celebrated for a long time New Year's around that time, August. And then I have some friends that are Jewish, and they've just been celebrating their New Year. And part of like that comes with there's like a practice of forgiveness, and we can forgive the self too. We can be like, like I did this morning. Like I'm getting back into my stretches. Like, yeah, I couldn't do them when I'd been in a couple of car accidents, but I'm at the point now where I can do them every day again. And so forgiveness in that sense doesn't have to be a big deal. It's like, yeah, I gave myself that time off of the stretches because it hurt more than it helped. And now I'm going to give myself back to it. So, this is a good time. It's new beginnings in so many ways, not just with the Plutarian transit. It's new beginnings. We just went through the Virgo transit, which also had a lot of 1 degree in Aries, which Aries also represents new beginnings. So, with Libra, I am noticing that there is, a different kind of intuitive, thing in the air, so to speak. And it's really interesting. Libra is an air sign, so it's easier to be a little more logical about things, and observe things. And I think it's a great time for observation. And what I would say to observe is, one, observe how, as we move through this Aries consciousness here on planet Earth, because Aries is the opposite of Libra. So on Earth, we're moving through that Aries consciousness as our ego is teaching us the ways of Aries. Aries is really great at disassociating from the body, not so much on purpose, just because for Aries, the body is so new. The soul has just dropped into the body. And so the body's like, go, 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 like a child who just learned how to walk or run. And it just wants to do all the things. It's so excited to take action. And it can be really easy to, be taking so much action, or to be not noticing things like the little sting on the leg, or the little things. And when we start to get headaches, which is the Aries rules the head and the body, but most also the head. When we start to get headaches, we know that we are not feeling all of our feelings, because it takes time to like stop, and feelings can be a beautiful thing. Feelings can be turned into beautiful things. Processing feelings can create beautiful things, and feeling the good feelings, of course, is already beautiful. So feeling feelings is part of it. And if we're not doing that, that's when we tend to end up with things that hurt in our body, because the body will somatize. It's not all about what goes on in here as far as our thoughts. It's also about patterns that our body has. Our central nervous system and our parasympathetic nervous system has these patterns of operation, these base homeostasis methods of operating. And those don't just go away without conscious awareness and practice. And some of them never go away, and some of them can. So it's a great time to really bring that realization back into the body about consciousness and our conscience. Because our conscience isn't just about, don't lie to others, or don't do that thing that's mean to someone. Our conscience can also be how we treat ourselves. So it's a great time to really take time with ourselves as if we are the thing of beauty that we are observing, like that beautiful flower, before we paint it or before we write poetry about it, that we are that beautiful thing. So that's one thing. Just take time and observe, how does your body feel? And, are you in a situation where you think it would be a good idea to maybe slow down and start appreciating some things, and maybe listen to yourself as if you are a beautiful, precious thing, or a beautiful, precious soul, or a beautiful or precious person. Yeah. Another game that I like to play, when I get kind of curmudgeon-y and I don't want to be stuck in the curmudgeon-y feelings, because it's all about new beginnings, and it's hard to recognize, that we're in new beginnings sometimes. So I'm going to tell you about a game that I play that you might enjoy playing too. I'm going to tell you, there's this movie that I just saw. It's called Night Stalker. No, not Time Stalker. It's called Time Stalker. And it's about this woman and all of these different lives that she has. Not lives as in a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 was a whole nother life for me. just a few years ago, that was like a whole nother life. No, this is like literally like she dies and she's born over and over again. So throughout history, on this particular dimensional plane, it goes over all the different lives that she's had, and the same characters, the same actors and actresses are in each life, but they play different characters. So like in one of the lives, her dog is like her husband, and in another life, but there's similarities too in each life too. And it's called Time Stalker. I think it's made in Australia. It was just such a cute and sweet film. And there's moments where she remembers these past lives, which I really appreciate that media and film could show that, because it's true. Some of us remember. And for some of us, like the first time we remember that, it's a huge deal. Like if you remembered past lives, when you're too young to have had a past life in your own, life between your birth and your death. When you're young and you're like remembering yourself as a grown up, it's weird, right? And some of you out there know what that's like. And so it's nice to see like that portrayed. And it can feel like a really big deal. Like this is huge, because I'm remembering this. It must be important. It must be so important. And if it's important, it's just for the fact of you could do it a little differently this time. You don't have to take the same route. It's not like a roller coaster ride that you're fixed into the seat and buckled down. It's more like a labyrinth that you can take a different turn if you want to. And the general ambiance and the general fates are similar, but even, the Hindus believe that fate can be transcended. Karma can be transcended. So there's it's similar, but it's different. But, so if you do happen to remember those, just know that it's not always, it's like super important. Like just because you remember something, it doesn't mean that it has to mean any huge deal. But in this movie, it means a huge deal to this person. And, with, all these new beginnings happening, and with Pluto having Aquarius and this whole new karma package that we're writing ourselves as we go along, with all of that going on, just because similar things happen, or things might seem familiar, don't think that it's going to play out the same way. It doesn't have to. It can be completely different. Similarly to how the woman's dog was her husband in one of her lives. And then in the other life, just her little puppy. These things can happen. And in Virgo season, I talked a lot about figuring out what your cream of the crop is. What is it that you just always come back to? What is it that you really love? Because what you really love is what you can be really great at. And it can bring you great balance and great joy. So, one question is, what is the film or the book or the song that you always go to when you're really down and out? No matter how bad it gets though, that song or that movie or that book it brings you back to life, or it makes you laugh, or it makes you feel better. Some of us have that. And for those of us that have that, it can be kind of a bit of shadow work to find the jewels in that. And I learned this. I can't remember exactly where or how I learned this, but I picked it up somewhere, and there are hidden jewels in the shadow, good things. So you can go to for me, it was the movie, The Wedding Singer. There is something about that movie that always made me laugh, especially the part where, and these movies don't always age well politically speaking, but it still made me laugh. It still makes me laugh. So there's particularly one part where, he's written a song. He's like, oh, this is the first half I wrote when my girlfriend and I were still together. And the second half is after we broke up. And he sings this song and just makes me laugh so hard. It makes me laugh. It's just so funny. And it always cheers me up because you could see, he just seems like he's really feeling it, but it's so ridiculous how feelings can feel so intense, and he portrays it so well. And then at the very end, she claps and she's like, I liked it. And there's just something so funny and sweet about it. Well, you can watch this movie, whatever it is for you, or the song, and put yourself in the different characters of the film or of the book or of the song, and play out, do any of these characters resemble me, and how? Or what would it be like if any of these characters were me? What would it be like if I played that role or this role or that role, because all of this is data that we feed ourselves, and the data that we resonate with, it's like when somebody strums a guitar string on one side of the room, and then the guitar that no one is touching at the other side of the room, the string on it moves and echoes that sound from that guitar string across the room that someone strung. It's a vibrance. It's a vibration. So that vibration is a clue to your hidden jewels. I don't mean that in a naughty way, but it is a clue to that stuff. So go check it out. Another game that I like to play is the I like game. When I get particularly curmudgeon-y, for whatever reason, maybe it has to do with justice, because Libra has to do with justice, right? And maybe it could be like the state of the world or whatever it is. Sometimes I get in these moods that I'm just like, I don't like the way it feels in my body. I've been in this mood a little too long, and I need to move. I need to shift this. So a game that I like to play is the I like game. And I just immediately start saying, I like this. And it helps if it's something right around me, like I like the twinkle lights that are on the ceiling. I like that color of gold that's behind my head. I like the flowers that are right outside this window. They're pinkish purple, the way the tree just kind of bends towards the window. Even though I keep pushing it back, like the flowers just seem like they want to come right in here. And I love it. So you just start, and you don't say why, don't go too much into the why of it, or it reminds me of, or any of that stuff. Just stick with, I like this, I like that. It helps if you, are around someone else who will play the game with you. They can also be like, I like this, I like that, I like this. And you want to really do it for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, not that long. The longer the better, with the I like game, because they say like for every negative thing that happens in our head with our reptilian brain, which keeps us in survival mode, it takes like 5 to 10 of the opposite kind of feeling to balance that out. So that's one thing about balance, and Libra's about balance. So that's something to it's a nice way to program ourselves to slow down and allow ourselves to have that beauty, which is in the eye of the beholder. And it's required that we behold the beauty in order for it to exist. We have to observe it. Just like in science, you can't have science without the observer. So it's a great time, because Libra is an air sign. It's a great time to observe this stuff. Observe your body. When's your body starting to hurt? Are you disassociating? Just remember, we're in Aries consciousness. It's like our new soul has just dropped into our body, and it is time. It is time for our brand new bodies, with our brand new souls, our refreshed souls, to learn how to be a soul in a body, and to get the attention and the credit that it deserves. So you might have stories that seem similar to things that have already occurred. I took an art class once where I needed to borrow a piece of paper, and the teacher was just so angry and tore it up and threw it at me, and was just so angry. And I was already in so much pain. And I actually just started bawling in this class, because art can be very vulnerable. And, I should know. I've been an art therapist, but, so asking to borrow a piece of paper and having somebody just throw it at you, and it's all ripped up. And there were multiple experiences that I had over the years, but I still ended up going back into it and doing it again, and doing it in a different environment. And you can kind of carry some of those fears with you. What if this happens? It was so painful when it happened in this situation. What if it happens in this situation? But don't let those fears control you, or let that dictate what your reality will be. It's a whole new story. It's just like the woman with her little doggy. It's not her little doggy anymore. Now it's her partner. There's another art class out there where you don't even have to ask to borrow paper. They have the best paper at the front of the class for anybody to just take a piece whenever they need it. So it could be just the most simple things, can be completely turned upside down and inside out to your benefit. If you're willing to observe and notice it, it will benefit you. So yeah. Cheers to Libra season. Keep up with that balance. Keep up with the balance of the mind, body, soul connection. and keep things fair. And remember, the first 10 days of Libra, we're kind of like on the third day right now when I'm recording this, but the first 10 days, it's all about you. It's all about fairness and balance in your own reality. Then you can start thinking about like your partner and your friends and the community for the next 10 days. And then you're going to start noticing things that have to do with justice and balance and fairness in society the last 10 days of the Libra season, which will be which will begin in about 20 days from now. So when I'm recording this, and that will be around the middle of October, end of October-ish. So enjoy this Libra season, and I hope this finds you well. Kudos. Bye.